welcome to our last match before we head to Vancouver for the North American LCS Finals. As you can see, the crowd is out in force today to support both of our teams. TSM versus FlyQuest being the matchup today. Hai making his way into the studio, shot caller extraordinaire for FlyQuest. We'll see if he can lead his team to victory up against Bjergsen and the rest of Team Solo Mid. Of course, we know that they are considered the hometown favorites in general, and plenty of support is out here for them today. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson here with Mark Zimmerman and Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler. How are you guys doing today on this Sunday, Easter Sunday of all days?
I'm stoked. The crowd is absolutely nuts so far today. Like, they're out of control.
Let's go. Let's go, Kobe. You ready?
The same, yes.
All right, all right. Before we get into today's matchup, I want to go ahead and take a look at the bracket real quick, break this down for you. Yesterday, we saw Cloud9 unseat Phoenix 1 3-0. Very dominant series out of them yesterday to move on to the finals off the back of a very impressive performance out of our rookie of the split, Contracts in the Jungle.
Contrast was absolutely amazing. He got player of the series for that one and definitely deserved it. Also, you know, rookie of the split as well. So all the awards lately going over to him.
They're moving on to the finals. Phoenix 1 will move into that third, fourth place matchup also in Vancouver. But Cloud9 playing the winner of today's matchup. Before we tee up that matchup itself, I want to remind those of you at home to tweet at LOL Esports and share with us how you LCS using the hashtag HowILCS. And we'll take a look at some of those responses later in the day. But now today's matchup, gentlemen, TSM, FlyQuest, here it is. I mean, this is a rematch of sorts only because we've seen TSM up against, for example, Balls, Hai, Lemon Nation in the past. But I want to start this off with your predictions, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm going to start with something, no surprise probably. I'm going to go with TSM taking the series. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they're not a super tricky team. You can think of them kind of like a gear check in like an RPG where they're not going to do anything crazy. They don't follow the cheese. You just kind of have to beat them the standard way because that's what they do best, and FlyQuest does tend to play a little bit looser, a little bit crazier of a style, and I'm not sure that's going to play that well against TSM.
They don't follow the cheese, huh? Interesting.
For the most part. For the most part.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I am also going to go with TSM in this one. I just think that they have really successfully played around their solo laners really well this split, and especially Hauntzer up in the top lane versus Balls. I think that is going to be a mismatch, and one of the things Hauntzer does really well is take a winning lane from the top lane, move it across the map, and get the rest of his team rolling.
Perhaps the most lopsided matchup there in the top lane, but we want to talk about that mid lane matchup as well, the other solo laners, which will be our featured matchup of the day. Hai versus Bjergsen. I mean, these guys are no strangers to each other in the mid lane.
And I just love the difference in styles that you see out of them. Hai with the much lower KDA, much lower CS differential, but he plays for the team. He's all over the map. He has much higher first blood participation, and then on top of the fact that you see his damage per minute numbers are actually higher than Bjergsen's. Kind of comes down to team style as well, but you see that Hai is just always putting himself first into the fray for his team.
Also, both these mid laners are kind of the hearts of their teams, and it goes into kind of the style that Mark was talking about. Bjergsen is a shot caller as well, just much more safe than Hai as a shot caller.
All right, well, a lot will probably, you know, kind of rest on how those solo lanes, both the top and the mid lane, turn out within each of these games themselves. We had the opportunity to meet with both Hai and Bjergsen and have them share about their history as players and how it has affected their expectations coming into this match. Take a look.
How do you compete for someone that does everything right? At least that's what the public says, and it's probably true, so. Well, what can I say bad about it?
I feel like you're getting in my head.
Nah.
You're talking me up.
I'm being considerate and nice. That's
Okay.
what friends would do, you know?
Are we friends?
I don't know, you tell me.
We're friends now. Are we friends when we play, though?
No, not when we play.
Yeah, not when we play.
Keep going. We end this game, okay?
I kind of envied Hai being able to not necessarily win the lane, but he would always win the game, and that's something I wanted to be able to do, too.
I was always kind of jealous because people would always say, you know, Bjergsen's mechanics are always like top tier. He's the best mechanical NA. It's almost undisputed that he's the best. And for me to hear that, it's just like, you know, it's kind of like a morale killer, but at the same time, I really didn't care because at the end of the day, whoever wins the game is, in my opinion, the better player. I don't really care if he plays better in lane. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is whose team comes out on top at the end.
I think the most memorable thing was when we were scrimming around Worlds 2014, and you pushed 2 waves, and then you roamed top and killed Darius at level 2. And I remember saying, I said something like, oh, Hai's gonna go ward the left side of mid. And then you show up top, and you kill Darius in every single game for the next like year. when you leave the lane like level 1 or level 2, I'm like, high's missing, don't die to this guy.
Being able to have control of what you want to do mid is just so important because it's the center of everything, and you will have tempo if you have control of that. So to really, like have a really strong team, you need a good core, and that the core is the center of things, and that's where mid lane is at.
Yeah, come. I'm an ult mid. Ultimate, come.
High's a smart guy. What can I say?
I went to school,
I didn't,
Yeah.
but I still know that mid lane's important.
I don't think
I didn't need to
I
go
feel
to
like
school
everybody
for that.
knows that, though, Yeah.
I didn't have to go to school for that.
Yeah, but I worded it eloquently,
Yeah.
And that's important sometimes.
This is my second language. Can you not insult me?
Is it still your second language? I don't even hear an accent
isn't it?
anymore.
It's pretty much.
I mean, I can speak another language too, but I don't go around telling people I can't speak English as my
Alright.
first language.
Okay.
Do you speak English more? Or is it called Danish?
Yeah, I speak English way more.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, this guy's just lying right now. You're lying on camera. Terrible person.
In the beginning, I think we were pretty bad. We haven't been nearly as dominant in summer, so even though we are first place, it still doesn't feel like we're at the level I want us to be.
Well, I wish I could say that we're first place, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel like that's like complaining when you're already first, but nah, it's fine.
How long has it been since we won?
I feel like for them, they have more pressure, A lot of people look down on us as a team and always say that we're a bad team that either, cheese our wins or just have better macro play. So if they were to lose to us, I'm sure that'd be like very demoralizing, and they don't want to lose to a so-called bad team.
Losing because you underestimate your opponent is one of the worst ways you could ever lose a game, and every game I try to not disrespect my opponent.
We had a good start, and then things went downhill for a while, but it's a roller coaster, so it's on the way back up, And then hopefully we're at the top of the arc, and that's where I hope we are.
That was a CLG game, right? And then
No.
back down.
Not yet,
into
not yet.
us.
I saw his tweet. He said, I did not expect to play FlyQuest after the
first two
start."
games.
Yeah,
Would you?
yeah, sure.
If you saw us playing
I
against
feel like
CLG,
he had that
getting
tweet prepped before that even happened.
Getting smashed in the first two games. Flock was turning around with some pretty exciting games. They were a lot of fighting.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
think
like
he's trying to
fighting,
sugarcoat that by saying we suck,
a lot
but
of-
we played
Have you
better.
seen our games?
He's like saying it's a clown fiesta, but these guys know how to control the circus.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying right now.
He's a master of the circus.
Yeah, well, we'll see who the monkey is in our next game.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the big tent. My name is David Frick.